Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host, Tom Siri from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be the Combat Series episode number 22 for you guys. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of the Combat Series episode number 22. I'll be sharing my UFC 295 main event prediction between Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka. So, for those following the UFC, this is actually the co-main event that has been elevated to the main event of UFC 295, taking place in Madison Square Garden. Due to the fact that, unfortunately, heavyweight champion in the UFC, Jon Jones, unfortunately suffered an injury that will sideline him for the next 6 to 8 months as he was preparing to be in the main event of UFC 295. We all wish the best for Jon Jones as he recovers from his injury. So therefore, now Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka will be the main event of UFC 295. Both fighters will be fighting for the vacant lightweight title in a 5-round championship fight taking place in the main event of UFC 295. So, keeping you guys updated of what's been going on, what's been transpiring in the UFC between these two respective fighters in their last outings. Alex Pereira is coming off a big monumental win. He's coming into this fight at UFC 295 with a big monumental win in the co-main event of UFC 291. Then you have Jiri Prochazka. He's coming off the couch. This is his first performance since his big win in 2022 in the main event of UFC 295, getting the submission victory against Glover Teixeira to become the light heavyweight champion in the UFC. He's looking to get the title back that he never lost. So this is going to be an interesting matchup between Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka in the main event of UFC 295. This is my tale of tape. Jiri Prochazka is 29-3-1, 29 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw to his resume. He is the former light heavyweight champion. Title never lost, never got a chance to defend it due to injury. Currently the number 1 ranked light heavyweight in the world today, and stands at 6'3" and has a reach advantage of 80 inches. Then you look like Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is currently 8-2, 8 wins, 2 losses, a former UFC middleweight champion, currently the number 3 ranked light heavyweight contender in the UFC today. He stands at 6'4" and has a reach advantage of 79 inches. So I love this. When I do the tail of tape for all fights in combat sports, the height advantage goes to Alex Pereira, but the reach advantage goes to Jiri Prochazka with 80 inches compared to 79. Then, this is so interesting about this fight. I think we're going to be in store for for a great fight between the two respective fighters. This is going to be interesting because both Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka have over a 50% strike at landing accuracy. In terms of strike accuracy rating of 50%. Alex Pereira's striking defense stands at 51% to Jiri Prochazka's striking defense that stands at 40%. Both fighters have a takedown advantage of 100% accuracy. That's key elements heading into this fight. So when you have all those tangibles, when you mix all those ingredients into this fight that we're going to see for 5 championship rounds, I think we're going to be in store for some fireworks between the two respective fighters once they meet in the octagon. Then I'm going to be discussing which fighters are best at these respective departments. So you're looking at striking. I gave the striking to Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira obviously has a kickboxing background to his repertoire for the sport of MMA. His striking ability is top notch. I wouldn't be surprised if you give that man a pair of boxing gloves and he can go do some work in the sport of boxing. He can fight however he wants striking. I have to give the striking department to Alex Pereira. Then you look at the wrestling submission department. I have to give this category to Jiri Prochazka. Only has 1 UFC takedown under his belt. Only going for 1 UFC takedown in his UFC career thus far. But I do believe that the wrestling and the submissions and the takedowns, he has way more UFC experience than Alex Pereira. I have to give him this department of wrestling submissions to him in terms of who has the advantage in this department. Then the main factor. This is a big main factor heading into this UFC 295 main event. Like I just said moments ago in the beginning of the segment when I just talked about Jiri Prochazka, I just talked about him winning that light heavyweight championship back in 2022. He did that in July of 2022 to win that light heavyweight championship. He has not been in a UFC octagon for the last 16 months. So will the ring rust, will the octagon rust, will the layoff be in effect for Jiri Prochazka heading into a big-time fight, a big-time atmosphere in Madison Square Garden in the main event of UFC 295? Time will tell. We're going to find out this Saturday night in the UFC. But with that being said, I'm going with Jiri Prochazka to win this fight by submission against Alex Pereira. I think he pulls off the submission victory in the later rounds of the fight. He has more. Jiri Prochazka just has way more experience than Alex Pereira in the UFC. I believe he has more in his arsenal, more in his toolbox to beat Alex Pereira in a five-round championship fight. And he's going to be more unpredictable than Alex Pereira. I think Alex Pereira, the cat's out of the bag. We all know he's one of the best strikers in the UFC with his kickboxing background. But Jiri Prochazka, I do believe he's going to be bringing a lot of unpredictable intangibles to this fight. And I do believe he's going to regain. Also, I do believe that cardiovascular endurance is going to be a factor in this fight. I do believe that Jiri Prochazka's cardiovascular endurance will be the deciding factor in this fight over Alex Pereira, which will help him reclaim the light heavyweight championship that he never lost. I like Jiri Prochazka winning this fight by submission in the later rounds to reclaim that light heavyweight championship fight. Light heavyweight championship. But that is all that is my fight prediction on this weekend's fight taking place in the UFC between Alex Pereira and Jiri Prochazka.